Boxing has always thrived on its larger-than-life figures, fighters whose presence in the ring transforms bouts into events, whose ability to end contests in a flash keeps audiences perched on the edge of their seats. In recent years, few fighters have embodied that mystique as completely as Naoya Inoue. Known across the boxing world by his nickname, the Monster, the Japanese superstar has risen from local prospect to pound-for-pound great with a series of knockouts so precise, so devastating, that they have redefined what it means to be a power puncher in the lower weight divisions. The tale of Inoue's career is not simply a chronology of victories or a tally of titles. It is the story of a fighter who shattered expectations at every step, combining technical mastery with concussive force. His knockouts are not the chaotic flurries of a brawler, but the carefully calculated work of a craftsman who understands angles, timing, and opportunity better than most. Each finish is its own performance, equal parts violence and artistry. This feature traces the defining knockouts of Naoya Inoue's career, the nights that built his legend, the opponents who tested his resolve, and the moments when the Monster reminded the world why his name inspires equal measures of awe and fear. Naoya Inoue's ascent to boxing superstardom began at a pace almost unheard of. In just his sixth professional fight, at only 21 years old, he challenged for a world title. The opponent was Mexico's Adrián El Confesor Hernandez, the reigning WBC light flyweight champion who carried both experience and pride into the ring. Hernandez had successfully defended his title 4 times, establishing himself as a resilient champion who could withstand any challenges. Meanwhile, much of the global boxing public was still unfamiliar with Inoue. Those who had followed his early career in Japan knew he was gifted, but few believed he would topple such an established champion so soon. From the opening bell, Inoue showed he was not intimidated. He stepped into range with confidence, firing sharp jabs and unloading powerful right hands that snapped Hernandez's head back. The Japanese challenger's style was different from what the champion was used to. Not a pressure fighter in the traditional sense, but an aggressive technician who made every punch count. Hernandez, embodying the trademark pride of Mexican warriors, tried to respond by charging forward. Each time he pressed the action, though, he paid the price. Inoue met him with crisp counters that punctured his rhythm and steadily drained his confidence. By the sixth round, the pattern was clear. Hernandez's forward surges had become desperate, and Inoue was reading him with ease. Then came the decisive blow. A perfectly timed right hand detonated against the champion's jaw, sending him crumbling to the canvas. The fight was over. Inoue, in only his sixth bout, had captured his first world title. That victory catapulted him into the pound-for-pound rankings at number 9, a staggering achievement for someone barely out of his teenage years. For the first time, the whispers began. Perhaps this young man truly was a monster. 2 years later, Inoue's reputation had grown, but the super flyweight division remained dominated by a seasoned champion named Kohei Kono. Kono was no ordinary title holder. With a 16-year career spanning over 40 bouts, he had developed a reputation as one of the toughest fighters in the division. Despite facing world-class opposition, he had never been stopped. The fight between the young phenom and the grizzled veteran took place at Tokyo's Ariake Coliseum in 2016. For Inoue, it was another opportunity to demonstrate that he was more than a prospect with potential. He was a generational talent. From the opening exchanges, Inoue imposed his will. His jab was authoritative, his movement sharp, and his combinations precise. He mixed in uppercuts and right hands that pierced Kono's high guard. The older champion responded with determination, pressing forward in an attempt to overwhelm his younger rival. But nothing Kono threw seemed to bother Inoue. By the third round, the younger man had complete control, using a blend of power and finesse to break down his opponent. Kono's toughness kept him upright, but it was clear he was walking into a storm. The climax came in the sixth round. Kono, trying to mount a rally, lunged forward. Inoue met him with a brutal left hook that floored him instantly. Though he somehow beat the count, he was badly shaken. Inoue wasted no time, doubling his hooks and mixing in his right hand until Kono was staggered, slumped against the ropes, and ultimately stopped. For the first time in 42 fights, the boogeyman had been broken. The stoppage was more than a victory. It was a symbolic passing of the torch. Inoue had dismantled the division's most durable champion, proving once again that the monster was not merely a nickname but a reality opponents had to confront. By 2018, Naoya Inoue had already won titles in multiple weight classes. When the World Boxing Super Series was announced, he entered as one of the favorites. His opening assignment was against Juan Carlos Payano, a former world champion with a strong reputation. Many expected Payano to provide a stern test, at least taking Inoue into the later rounds. Instead, the fight ended almost as soon as it began. From the opening bell, Payano pressed forward confidently, looking to assert himself. Inoue remained patient, studying his opponent's movement. Then, just 70 seconds into the bout, he unleashed a lightning-fast 1-2 combination, a stiff jab followed instantly by a thunderous straight right. The punch landed flush, and Payano collapsed in a heap. The referee waved off the fight without hesitation. The knockout, occurring in barely over a minute, stunned the arena and sent shockwaves through the boxing world. Analysts who had predicted a competitive fight were left shaking their heads. The punch was so precise, so perfectly timed, that Payano never had a chance to recover. The finish was later awarded Ring Magazine's Knockout of the Year, a testament to both its brutality and its beauty. It also reinforced the notion that Inoue's power was not merely impressive within the lighter divisions. It was extraordinary at any weight. By mid-2023, Inoue had dominated the bantamweight division, collecting titles and dispatching challengers with ruthless efficiency. Yet greatness demands new mountains to climb, and Inoue sought them at super bantamweight. His first opponent in the new division would be none other than Stephen "Cool Boy" Steph Fulton, the undefeated unified champion from Philadelphia. The matchup was widely considered one of the most intriguing of the year. Fulton's slick boxing style and undefeated record made him a dangerous foe, and many wondered whether Inoue's power would carry up to the new weight class. Some even suggested Fulton's size and ring IQ would neutralize the Japanese star. On fight night at Tokyo's Ariake Arena, the atmosphere was electric. From the opening bell, Fulton held his ground, trying to establish his jab and show he would not be bullied. Inoue, however, quickly found his rhythm. His footwork, angles, and timing allowed him to slip Fulton's shots and fire back with rapid counters. As the rounds progressed, Fulton's confidence eroded. Inoue's punches carried not only speed but also shocking power, stunning the American repeatedly. The usually composed champion began to look hesitant, unsure, and even lost. It was as if Inoue were operating in a different dimension, a matrix where every movement was calculated a step ahead. The 8th round delivered the decisive moment. Inoue landed a crushing right hand that staggered Fulton badly. Smelling blood, the Japanese star pursued relentlessly, unloading combinations until Fulton crashed to the canvas. It was the first knockdown of Fulton's professional career. Though he bravely rose, Inoue's follow-up barrage left the referee no choice but to halt the contest. The victory was not just dominant, it was transformative. Inoue had moved up in weight and dismantled the division's best fighter, proving once again that his skills and power transcended categories. Fulton, humbled, later admitted that Inoue's ring intelligence had overwhelmed him. For many observers, the performance cemented Inoue as one of the top 2 or 3 fighters on the planet, pound for pound. If there was ever a fight that carried emotional stakes beyond titles, it was Inoue's showdown with Mexico's Luis Nery. Nery had long been a controversial figure. After testing positive for banned substances and repeatedly failing to make weight, he was banned from competing in Japan. Among Japanese boxing fans, his name became synonymous with dishonor. So when he was finally cleared to face Inoue in May 2024, the bout became more than a championship contest. It was framed as a battle of pride and vengeance. The setting was historic. The Tokyo Dome, packed with more than 50,000 fans, provided a stage fitting for the occasion. The atmosphere crackled with energy, every spectator eager to see their hero defend the nation's honor against a despised rival. Then, in the opening round, disaster struck. Nery landed a massive left hook that dropped Inoue for the first time in his career. Gasps echoed through the dome. The monster was human, vulnerable, and hurt. but champions are defined not by how they fall but by how they rise. Inoue stood, composed himself, and returned in the next round with renewed fury. His punches were sharper, his movements quicker, and his determination palpable. By the end of the second round, he had scored a knockdown of his own, erasing the deficit and swinging momentum back in his favor. From that moment on, the fight was all Inoue. He dissected Nery with precision, targeting the body and breaking down his defenses. In the fifth round, cornered against the ropes, Nery absorbed a vicious left hook followed by a cascade of combinations. He fell again, battered and broken. Moments later, Inoue delivered the finishing touch, a brutal uppercut followed by a crushing right hand. Nery collapsed, the referee waving off the contest. The Tokyo Dome erupted in ecstasy. Their champion had not only defended his titles but also avenged the nation's pride, dispatching a fighter many considered dishonorable. Afterward, Inoue admitted that Nery's history of cheating had fueled his desire to destroy him. The victory was more than a defense of belts, it was a symbolic cleansing, a reminder that honor still had a place in the sport. Across these defining nights, Hernandez in 2014, Kono in 2016, Peano in 2018, Fulton in 2023, and Nery in 2024, the through line is unmistakable. Naoya Inoue is not just a puncher. He is not just a champion. He is an artist of violence, a master craftsman who blends technical excellence with bone-crunching power. What separates him from other knockout artists is the manner of his victories. Inoue does not throw wild haymakers or rely on chance. His knockouts come from precision, the perfectly timed counter, the angle his opponent never saw, and the combination that leaves no room for recovery. Each finish feels inevitable, as if scripted by a higher power of boxing logic. Equally important is his composure. Against Hernandez, he showed youthful fearlessness. Against Kono, he dismantled a veteran who had never been stopped. Against Peano, he demonstrated his ability to end fights in an instant. Against Fulton, he proved his skills carried across weight classes. And against Nery, he showed the heart of a champion, rising from the canvas to exact vengeance. Just 30 years old, Inoue has already conquered 4 divisions, unified titles, and secured his place among the pound-for-pound elite. His fights draw massive audiences, not just in Japan but globally, because fans know they might witness something extraordinary. A knockout that blends brutality with elegance. The scariest part? He may not be finished. New challenges await, new opponents will rise, and the monster will continue his hunt. For now, though, his legend is secure. Whether it was the thunderous right hand against Hernandez, the dismantling of Kono, the 1-minute obliteration of Peano, the Matrix-level mastery over Fulton, or the vengeance-fueled demolition of Nery, each knockout adds another chapter to a story still being written. Boxing has produced many champions, but few monsters. Naoya Inoue is both.